Hi guys, my name is Diana Garcia. I'm a licensed mental health counselor. So today I wanted to talk about 3 tips that are going to help you kind of adjust back to everyday life or back to normal. So I first want to start off with, if you're not extremely excited or looking forward to going back to normal life, that's okay. If you're noticing that you're having much more anxiety about it and you're actually resisting it and thinking, gosh, I kind of don't want to go back to normal, that's okay and part of the process. I just want you to recognize that we've been in this pandemic lockdown for over a year at this point, and we've had to adjust very quickly, but we've adjusted to what this feels like, what this is like, right? I'm sure your routine has completely changed from last year in March when all of this started. So now to start to adjust back, I want you guys to really accept that that's okay and part of the process, and that it would be normal to have some anxiety about it and that you're not used to it. And maybe you've realized that you kind of like some of your new routines. So that's the first piece. But now that we are starting to shift a little bit back, I do want to give you 3 kind of tips that are going to help you. Again, the first one is to acknowledge and accept that you might be feeling some anxiety. So really, the first tip that I want to say is name it, right? So name your anxiety and name it for the specific situation that you're feeling anxious about, right? So maybe you're anxious about seeing a friend again. Maybe you're anxious about having to go back into the office or work. Maybe you're anxious about having to leave your kid in daycare. Whatever it is that you're feeling some anxiety about or discomfort, I think the first piece that's really important is to acknowledge and accept it, right? Instead of resisting or telling yourself that you shouldn't feel this way or that you're crazy for having this anxiety, the first part is to really just accept that it's okay, and actually it's very normal to feel this way. The second piece, it's really be in charge of what you want to start to tackle, right? So instead of maybe falling to peer pressure or just starting to do things that you're not ready to do, I really want you to own when you want to start doing things, right? And what's really important is tying these things, these whatever decisions that you choose to make, into your values, right? So if it is you want to start slow with seeing a friend outside or seeing or going somewhere that's important to you, tie it to a value that's yours. You know, maybe it's a value of friendship, maybe it's a value of family. Whatever it is, it's just the core piece. It's I want you to feel comfortable and that you're the one in charge of what you're tackling. The other piece, it's really plan ahead. So that's kind of the third tip. It's plan ahead for potential anxiety in these different situations. So let's say your family is starting to do some get-togethers and this is the first one you're going to go to. Plan ahead for what that will be like for you. Plan ahead if you do notice you get some anxiety in the moment. What is that going to look like in the moment? And really kind of plan, okay, if I notice that I'm having some thoughts that, I shouldn't be here, or that, it's not okay, or that I might get sick, or someone else might get sick, notice those thoughts. Or if you start noticing that you're having some physical symptoms of anxiety because you're getting, let's say you notice getting hot, or your heart's beating, or you're starting to sweat, and you're thinking and you notice that your anxiety is starting to escalate, plan ahead. What can you do in that moment, right? So plan ahead. Okay, once you notice that that's happening, can you take a moment, depending on the situation, excuse yourself, go to the restroom, and potentially ground yourself? And that can look like, let me just take some deep breaths and remind myself that this that I'm experiencing is normal and it's okay. And you're choosing to be in this setting or situation because it matters to you, right? Maybe that means having to just take a moment to take some deep breaths, right? So like kind of breathing through those intense periods of anxiety. And this other piece though, if you can, trying to stay in the situation, if it's important to you, right? So again, when I think of plan ahead, that can also look like maybe you have to start going back into the office and you're kind of a little nervous about that. Can you, try to go in a week before maybe other people will, or start slowly depending on your work situation. So I think the big piece with this plan ahead, it's you starting to really think, okay, what are the situations that are causing me some anxiety, and how can I start to plan ahead and think about what can I do in those moments to manage these feelings? Because it's normal and it's okay that you have these feelings, and yet what can you do to kind of be prepared for them versus sometimes getting caught off guard, and then that can sometimes make our anxiety even worse. All right, guys, I hope these tips were helpful. And again, just really be kind with yourselves, that this is just a new situation for all of us. So just really hold that as well as you're going through these different scenarios, just that, hey, it's okay that you're going through this, and if you can, be kind to yourself through this process. All right, I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to more videos with you guys.